Your ad is all that matters. Screw the strategy, screw the bidding, screw the next best hack and all this other stuff. The number one most important thing to your Facebook ad account success is your ad. Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm here to help you out. Let's begin to win at Facebook. Your ad is all that matters. Let's go. All right. Now, I just made some statements. Now, I'm going to back them up. Number one, your ad is all that matters. And we're going to unpack that in several pieces. But let me talk to you about the things that actually don't matter. Your audience. Now, I know you're saying, but what about the targeting and all this other stuff? First off, let me actually tell you what an audience is. And every time somebody tells me they got a great audience for their success, I'm happy to inform them why they're misinformed. Number one, your audience is a restriction on the Facebook universe that you're allowing your ad to see, and every level of customization to that audience comes at a premium cost. Now, there are some times where an audience, even though it costs more money because the conversion rate on that audience or the estimated action rate on that audience is higher, it's good for you. I'm not saying that audiences are completely wrong. I'm just saying the best audience in the world will not do for you what a good ad will. Let me talk to you about another point. The next bidding model or architecture or strategy to hack the machine. Well, first off, if you are actively trying a bunch of hacks to the machine and different bidding models and strategies, what are you really doing at a higher level? You are spending a bunch of money in more and more and more places. Now, what are you really doing there? You are investing in more and more places that you are actively trying to keep dumb. Facebook's a machine learning platform, which means that you teach it. Every campaign, every ad set, every ad learns. The more you have, the dumber every one of them is. Let me put it to you this way. Let's be hyperbolic. You got one campaign, one ad set, 5 ads. That's an order of magnitude of difficulty of 5. Now, let's go another route. Let's say you have 10 campaigns with 10 ad sets and every one of them's got 10 ads in it. That's an order of magnitude of 1,000. That means that it is 200 times more complicated. Do you really think it's not dumber when you've invested 1/200th of the amount of time trying to teach it what your objectives are? Do you think it's 200 times more efficient for your net goal? Do you honestly think that a machine learning platform that learns from your business objectives benefits from you complicating it and making it stupid on some short win that probably isn't scalable? Well, I gotta, if that's what you want to do, you can find some success with it. You can absolutely hack and slash your way by completely misusing a tool. You can build a house with a screwdriver and a wrench, but if you have, a nail gun, you're going to get it done a lot easier. Don't be the person MacGyvering their way through everything when you could just walk in the front door and use it properly. So, what's another thing that's an absolute waste of our time, not nearly as effective as our ad? Trying to accomplish things that aren't Facebook's problem. What's an example of that? Well, maybe you're trying to do a landing page test. I want to see which landing page does better. So you go about the option of, well, I've got one campaign that does X. Let me duplicate that campaign or duplicate that ad set with the exact same ads, but I'm going to run to a different landing page. That'll tell me what's going on. No, it won't. Stop it. Number one, every ad creates its own lookalike audience. Because remember, every ad is a web page. Quite literally, every ad is a web page. It has a URL. Facebook is a web page navigation device. It measures the click-through rate and the bounce rate and the stickiness of every web page. And then it tries to show you web pages it thinks you're going to respond to. Facebook is Google search. Think about it that way. So, its objective is probably to bring you search results that are most relevant to you. Which means that if you have an ad that was working and then you try to build another ad that goes to some other place, well, how the hell is that ad going to, like, how much do you need to spend there for it to even be comparable to this one? How the hell is it going to know who that is when it already knows who this is? If everybody that it thinks is going to do well on this one would probably respond better, why would this thing see anybody that's any good in the first place? Facebook's objective is not to take your money. Facebook's objective is to deliver you consistent results so that you spend more selling you their inventory of eyeballs. I hope that makes sense. So let me talk to you about what's actually important. Your ad. Your ad is the most important thing. Generally speaking, the most successful accounts tend to take the consumer, the end user, as a priority. Now, how do you do that? You find an ad that responds well to them. Remember, the Facebook algorithm sells attention for money, right? It's eyeballs for profit. Now, how does it figure out how much to charge you? Well, it's how much you're willing to spend your budget and how likely you are to respond positively to something based on the click-through rate and the bounce rate and the stickiness, the estimated action rate. That's what it uses to define the cost for you, the advertiser, to reach me, the person you're trying to target. So what you need, honestly, to get a better result is one of two things: a lower budget or a higher estimated action rate. That's it. That is it. All of Facebook comes down to those two elements. Now, if you want to spend more money, you're not going to be able to do it while lowering your budget. That's just not how math works. So you're going to have to come up with a better estimated action rate. Now, what happens is people use 2013 Google best practices and stuff that they learned from, programmatic in the decade before that to try to shoehorn that into something that has absolutely no relevance at all to that line of thinking, an optimized CPM platform. Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter and everything else that doesn't just give you a list. Even your search results organically are done like that. Have you ever noticed that if you Google something and the person next to you Googles something, they see different results? It's the same reason why when you refresh your Facebook and they refresh their Facebook, you get different content. Because you've had different experiences. You've engaged with different things. Now you're saying, well, I'm following different people and I have different friends. Yeah, you've engaged with different websites. That's it. You've engaged with different web pages than that person has. So it's showing you different results. The same thing that Google search is. So how do we actually take action on any of this information? Well, let's get to the bottom of it. Here's how we get it done. You start to focus on your audience being a constant. And we're going to go dig up our textbook from 5th grade and implement the scientific method. Our audience is a constant. Now, if we want to improve performance, we have a constant and then we test against it and just see if the impact of that variable gives us a more or less desirable outcome. Okay. So what we do is our audience is a constant and our ad is the variable. Some ads do better, some ads do worse. If the ads do better, well then Facebook's going to give you a better result. And then what happens is, remember, Facebook's number one objective is to deliver you a consistent result because it defines, you've told it, you've taught it that that's what your results are. That's what business success looks like for you. That's what's going to keep your spend up, is by giving you that result. And yes, it's going to try to give you that result that most closely matches the one you've had before. And generally that looks to most advertisers as the same cost. Facebook's primary objective is to deliver you consistent results. And if you're wildly inconsistent, I'm willing to bet you're either spending nothing or you've got a wildly too complex Facebook ad account. You are actively taking every stride you can to keep it as dumb as possible to deliver you results. Because you think day trading a million moving things and adding in hundreds or thousands of variables into the equation is a better thing than focusing on one constant and a variable using 5th grade science class. Now let me get back to the point here. If your average is $50 and you want to improve that average, you can try different audiences, which is again a short gain, with overly complex as the system, makes things dumber, or you can get a better ad. Now, let's say you get a better ad and you start to get some sales for $45 or $40. What happens to your average when you start to introduce lower cost things? Your average comes down. Well, if your average comes down, what is Facebook going to start doing? They're going to start delivering you more efficient results because you've taught it that that's what your objectives are. And you've proven that you can utilize the budget to deliver a higher estimated action rate so your bid comes down. So again, the only thing that matters is your ad. Everything else is basically nonsense. Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm here to help you begin to win at Facebook. Comment below with what I just said. If any of it doesn't make sense or any of it upsets you, and if you know anybody that disagrees, tag them and I will gladly set them straight for you. All right? See you next time.